Hello, today we are talking about The Chrysalis by Deenan. And I know these videos right here don't get very many views, but hey, according to some trolls, my videos are not going to get that many views anyway, so fuck it. Lazy review today. Who cares? This review might be a little scattered because I'm shooting for just 20 minutes at most is what I want to dedicate to talking about this book, and I'm gonna have to finish reading the damn thing before I do a real good authentic review. So I'm probably gonna finish that up today and come back to it. Let me check how many pages I have left. I have 27 pages left, and I think I want to finish it tonight. Now what I usually do is I'll take a book and I'll read it while I'm at my workout, either on the bike or on the treadmill. And I have had history with this book. I bought it, I think, secondhand somewhere. I know I didn't buy it at Walmart, but it was ages ago when I bought it, 6 to 7 years. And I started reading it. Then I had to put it down for whatever reason. It got lost on the shelf with all my many other books. Then I picked it up again and I was like, fuck, lost my bookmark. Put in a new bookmark. Then Rufus, my little cutie, the Sam to my Frodo, decided I was paying too much attention to something that wasn't him. So he got it off the shelf. He chewed the dust cover off it, and there is a bite mark in the book because Rufus decided to chew it up. Anyway, once again, I lost my bookmark after that. And then when I moved out of the house, me and my ex-husband shared together, lost my bookmark again. So by default that I just wanted to finish this goddamn thing, that's how this book became my next workout book. I just finished Jason Rekulak's Hidden Pictures. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that guy's name right or not. And I would rate that one 4 stars. And before that, I'd read the entire Hazel McAuliffe series. I'm saying all this stuff and yapping about these other books to say that when the book is good, the workout is good. But in the last few days, the workout has not been good. Now, I'm not saying this book is bad. I'm just saying this book suffers from what I would like to call passive prose. Now, we've all heard of passive voice. Active voice is the goat rammed my legs. Passive voice was I was rammed in the legs by a goat. Now, everyone struggles with passive voice. Every single author in the world. But this book feels like it has passive prose. It does have active voice, but one scene is when Jenny wants to ask Tom about having another party at their house. Instead of saying something like, due to Tom's tense mood at dinner, Jenny was apprehensive to broach the situation of asking for another party. And the party is where all the shit went down, so Jenny was right to be apprehensive. It comes up with the question, and then it flashes back to Tom being kind of distant at dinner and everything, and a little harsh during the weeks previously. And you know what? I'm fine with that, mostly. Let's reference back to the Hazel McAuliffe series. The way Inger Ash Wolf writes is that when Hazel is going for a walk or sitting at her desk trying to figure out what the killer's motivations are and whatever, her thoughts kind of flow to her daughters or her ex-husband or her mom. But then Hazel quickly gets herself back on track. There's not really a time in Hazel's interactions where her life could end that she's thinking about whatever school play she was in. And there was a thing while I was working out earlier that kind of just took me a little bit out of the book. Tom is losing his mind, right? Now and he's lashing out on a friend of his. And instead of saying it was like Kevin was back in wrestling class that one time that jerk pulled an illegal move on him and ruined his wrestling career forever, implying that Kevin sustained an injury. No, he's getting punch after punch laid on him by his best friend who he's known for life. And as someone who has been recently subjected to "who the hell are you? You are not who I knew. I don't know who this is, but he can fuck off," I can tell you, at no time did I stop and think about shit. Should have tried to continue modeling. Even when he was just verbally yelling at me, I didn't do that. Never when I felt like my life was in danger, actually. But let's quickly go over what this story is about. We start out with Tom, and I already kind of don't like him. I mean, I want him to just join the fucking club. He's got tattoos, he's got long hair, and he paints. And he really wants to make money off of his paintings and have them be in galleries and shit. And Jenny, his wife, is the one making the most money. And Tom kind of seems lackadaisical. Anyway, Tom doesn't really seem actually too invested in being a painter. There's never a time where he's actually painting either before or after moving into the house with the Chrysalis in the basement. But I didn't like Tom from the very beginning. I see possibly too much of the things I don't like about myself and the things I don't like about my ex in Tom. And I see a lot of the things I don't like about myself in Jenny. Like always forgiving and feeling like, oh, well, I got to because reasons. Jenny works for a really fancy gym that later goes out of business, and Tom works at a bar. And Tom has a very bad drinking problem. He's drinking throughout most of the book. Tom has long hair and tattoos and doesn't like to take shit off of people. And when their rent is raised to almost triple, the rent tripling and Jenny's job looking in jeopardy and Tom not really getting very many hours working as a bartender, they have to reach out to Jenny's snooty sister, Victoria. And they have to say, hey, yo, Victoria, can you help us out? And that's where the big, old, rusty house with the pulsating chrysalis in the basement comes in. They buy it, they love it, they're going to clean it up and everything. About a few weeks later, after going into the house, Jenny is pregnant. Now, here's the part that I didn't really like about Tom, because there was a part in the prose that said it had been the first time they'd made love while they were both sober. Probably not first time, but first time in a long time. And I can already tell you, hey, Jenny, stop settling for less. The D cannot be that good. First day in the basement, Tom walks down and he touches the chrysalis that's hidden behind an old refrigerator, like that one that should have killed Indiana Jones, but it didn't. And the basement is alive with color, and he's alive with this exhilarating electric feeling. And then he's got to have the house. And he was going to get the shovel or something and scrape it off the wall. I'm guessing it looks like a brain after you touch it, but before you touch it, it looks like a yucky hornet's nest or something. But the thing that's keeping me from really enjoying this book is not only the backwards prose of, here's the thing, now let's talk about what happened previously, and instead of wrapping it up into a few nice sentences, it's wrapped up into some weird, what feels like backwards written sentences. Or short, clippy sentences, and I'll admit I'm a dumb bitch that really likes long, dumbass sentences. I hate short, clippy sentences. Unless you're William Faulkner, in which case you can go fuck yourself. My dude, sentences do not need to be 200 pages long. But the book is a barrage of, after they touch the thing, they have these horrible intrusive thoughts about hurting other people. And of course they find out after they've bought the house that somebody was brutally murdered in it. And that's about it. They go, they yell at the realtor, they call her a few choice words, and then they're ready to get drunk and party again. And yeah, I get that these people are young, but Fuck, I don't like young people, I've decided. I'm already that old bitch at only 40 years old. Like, get off my lawn. I don't want any cookies, little girl. But no, really, if you are here to sell me cookies, I will buy all of your fucking cookies. Tag-alongs are like crack. But I'm about 27 pages away from the ending. And only about 4, 5, 10 being generous. Only about 4 or 5, possibly 10 pages ago, did Jenny finally decide that she's done and decide to investigate what happened in the house and talk to the woman who killed her husband, who's in an asylum. This book is done in months, month 1, month 2. I'm on month 8, I think we're approaching month 9. And spoilers, the Chrysalis has already taken control of Tom. He's fucked up and he's attacked his wife and he attacked his friend, and he was going mad at work, like the British form of it and the American form. And he was bullshitting a bunch of sales. And I liked that one thing was he was there and he was getting sales. And I'm like, how the hell is he getting sales when he's not even on the fucking planet? And the thing that I didn't like about Tom, gonna get sidetracked and talk about this, is that, yeah, we all want to live our dreams. We want to make money doing our art. I'd like to make money off of YouTube, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I'd like to make lots of money off of my books. I've had a pretty good year for somebody who has not, bothered to promote that much. Kind of got a lot of shit going on in my life right now, so writing is very low on the priority list. If I could just sell my old shitty house that kind of resembles this shitty house in this book, I'd be peachy keen jelly bean. But Tom just is so defensive, and he doesn't want to comb or cut his long hair to get his corporate office job, but he's got to, because he's got a house, a used car, and a baby on the way. He's got to suck it up and join the corporate world and cut his hair. So, having to cut his hair and cover up his tattoos, he feels just defeated. And it's like, Tom, shut the fuck up. Join the club. All of us are walking along the boulevard of broken dreams with Green Day. Okay? Like, God. Like I said, everything I don't like about myself. Now, I have a feeling that this book is trying to take a supernatural horror element type of look at drug addiction and how it destroys families. We were already given a little insight into Tom and how he spends most of his nights wasted, and he occasionally does some Delta 8 and whatnot. So the high he gets from touching this chrysalis would be an all-consuming thing, because he does have an addicting personality and he doesn't really seem to be too keen on growing up and being an adult. Furthermore, Tom never paints. There might have been one mention of it before he went and saw his friend Kevin and were introduced to his friend Kevin for the first time. He might have gotten out one thing, but he never paints this whole time. We're told he's a painter, but there's never a goddamn scene of him taking a brush to a canvas at all. And they could have incorporated that. I mean, it is a cliche, but I like this cliche of incorporating whatever he sees in his fugues into his paintings. But no, it's just Tom closed a big deal. Jenny's got a wonderful job after she lost her other one, and she's got her own business. And things are starting to get better with Jenny's sister, Victoria, and Tom, because Jenny thinks Victoria's kind of a nasty bitch, and Victoria thinks that Jenny's wasting her time with Tom and everything. But Jenny has ammunition because Victoria's wife is kind of shiftless and lacking direction as well. Now, we spend a long time getting to know these characters, getting their flashbacks of their life. Like I said, Kevin's getting the crap beaten out of him by Tom, and he's flashing back to his grandma and his sibling. the whole wrestling thing and whatever. But, motherfucker, I don't care at this moment. I don't care. Like, you can look around and you can see the crowd is like, I don't know what to do. And then finally, when it looks like Kevin's gonna get choked to death by Tom via Christmas lights, then everybody springs into action. However, a lot of this book is just Jenny having intrusive thoughts, Tom having intrusive thoughts, even Kevin having intrusive thoughts. I haven't read the last 20 some odd pages. I will read it. And, maybe even Victoria has intrusive thoughts. But one of these days, Tom goes down to the basement. He's still semi-sweet Tom, like chocolate chips. And he sees a poor little squirrel. And he's like, oh no, I'm going to have to go and put this bad boy outside before it gets too cold so he can store nuts for the winter. Gonna be missing some toes, but I think he'll be okay. And then Tom sees the pulsating chrysalis, which by this point we still don't know where the fuck it is, where it came from, why it exists, why the lady who lived there before felt the need to stick it to the wall. But Tom's like, you know what? I'm gonna feed you a squirrel. Like the fucking ATM in American Psycho. Feed me a cat. But there's a lot of stuff in here that, like Patrick Bateman, Tom and Jenny aren't sure they've ever imagined. And I guess this chrysalis gives Jenny this amazing power, because there's a part where this handsome guy named Chad comes in. And normally I'm not for cheating in books, but when, honestly, fuck Tom, he deserves it. I don't even care. Tom has not spoken to her in weeks, and she's very heavy pregnant, like 7 months at this fucking point. And some guy named Chad starts kissing her, and then she's like, wait, hold on. I said stop. And then he doesn't stop because, of course, his name's Chad. Then suddenly Jenny grabs him by his throat and lifts him off of the fucking ground. Little, 5'7" at the most, Jenny has this strength to lift a man. Like, try and find me a man that is under 200 pounds that a woman who's 100 and something can lift. I don't even think Michelle McDaniel could actually lift her boyfriend. No, she has back problems. Like, that would fuck her up even more. I don't know if any muscle mommy could lift a man, especially not by the throat. I mean, I don't even know if a muscle mommy could bench press a man. But she slams him into the wall. And I'm just like, did you throw him against the wall all fucking Hulk style when he did with Thor? Or did you push him against the wall? How'd you lift him up off his feet? And it's one of those things where it's like, did I imagine that? Did I? And she starts getting this thrill hurting people. Anyway, I'm going to go directly right now, finish the last 27 pages, and come back with my conclusion. So far, it's 3 stars because it's creatively gory with the visions Jenny and them keep having. But other than Tom beating the shit out of Kevin, Jenny's interaction with Chad, all the crazy hallucinations and everything, and Tom feeding a person who did an inspection on the house right before they bought it, but he wouldn't let him go into the basement. Other than Tom feeding the chrysalis a guy named Ray, not a lot has happened, and I'm on page 270 of fucking 299 or something. Anyway, back in, oh God, I don't even know, like an hour to see. Yes, it will take me an hour to read 27 pages because I am easily distracted, which is why I read while I'm on the treadmill, so I don't focus on the pain of working out because I'm obese. Hi, I'm back. I don't know if it took an hour or only like 40 minutes, but previously in the book, a bunch of pictures of the previous homeowner with weird random things drawn all over it, and I forgot about it because it was only mentioned like once and very much in passing. I think it was mentioned when they were first looking at the house, And there was also in that same room that they planned on making the nursery, because remember, Jenny is pregnant. There was a secret passageway that went from the nursery down to the kitchen, where there's a red blood stain that they can't seem to get out of the floor, even though they scrubbed and everything. But anyway, Jenny went and she visited Abigail, and Abigail just said, mine, 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 and bit the doctor's nose, because Abigail, the woman who killed her husband in the prologue, was in a mental institution. So Jenny left, and then she said, I gotta go get my husband back and destroy whatever's in the basement. So she goes there, and then Tom, of course, apologizes before he tries to feed his wife to the Chrysalis. And then Jenny manages to get away. I did like that she fought like a girl. She didn't have superhuman strength, but she didn't go, oh no, I need somebody to save me. And then some ex machina type son of a bitch came up and saved her. Tom was taken out by the monster, and she ran to the front door. This big giant worm with lots of eyes and teeth and whatever came out of the chrysalis. The chrysalis was like small at first, and then it started growing, and this big worm came out of it, and it looked like it had a scorpion type tail is what I'm thinking. That's what I pictured anyway. And it stabbed through Tom and went through him. Right now it's after Jenny, and it wants to feed, and I still don't know where this thing came from. Would have appreciated a little bit of a background on it, which is why I think this chrysalis worm type object is symbolic for drug abuse. Looks like Tom's dead in the basement, and Jenny's fighting for her life to try and stab this thing. She ends up in the kitchen, and she starts stabbing and everything, and then just as she thinks she's about to get fucked over and killed, she's holding the knife and she's waiting for the big yucky worm thing to come for her. Tom shows up and he rips the thing apart, and there was a thing Tom did where he'd clink, clink, clink a lighter, and I was like, fuck, dude, if that was ever somebody I knew, I'd rip that lighter from their hands and set their dick on fire with it, like straight up. But anyway, Tom comes in and he rips the guts open and he creates a bigger hole, and he's just fucking this thing up. And then he takes out his Zippo and he sets the whole house on fire, and Jenny gives birth in the street. Now the ending was sort of satisfying. Like I said, would have appreciated knowing what the fuck the creature is, where it came from. I mean, I don't have to have a whole bunch of backstory, but I did have a whole bunch of backstory before. I kind of felt like Tom was not very fleshed out. Jenny was fleshed out. Her sister Victoria was fleshed out. I don't know if Victoria's wife had any lines, and I'm probably going to mispronounce her name. Her name was Lakshmi. Let me see how it's spelled in the book, and I'll get back to you. Lakshmi. But anyway, I'm thinking I'm going to rate it 3 stars. It was colorful in the way it described all the intrusive thoughts. Yeah, the characters were likable enough, and I wanted to root for them, but at the same time, I do think this is an allegory for drug abuse. There's not enough horror. There's not enough horror in this book about something yucky and pulsating and pus-filled growing on the wall to really classify it other than anything else. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. You cannot read it. You can take my word for it and understand that it's probably a 3-star review, but it's not poorly written. I want that understood. I might check out something else from Brendan Deenan in the future. Anyway, I don't know what my next workout book's going to be, but that is 6 workout books finished in 2 months. Bye-bye.